All right, so I wanted to talk about the Little Mermaid live action remake today, and we're going to be reacting to a video about it. And this is just hilarious because as of right now, the critic Rotten Tomatoes rating is listed as a 67%, and the audience score is 95%. And this is just absolutely hilarious to me because it completely just demolishes the narrative surrounding like anti-woke people that, oh well, the critics are bought off by Hollywood, and you know, all you just have to make woke things and they'll all just love it, blah 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 blah. But the audience score, those are the real people that you need to listen to when the audiences hate woke stuff, and that's why Hollywood is failing, because wokeness is rampant and blah blah blah. And this just completely flies in the face of that. And this isn't even the first time this has happened, because it's like, honestly, like recently, I just point to The Last of Us. The Last of Us is like one of the biggest shows that HBO has ever had, right? It was a massive success, and it was very woke. They did a bunch of race changes. In episode 3, they just completely changed one of the storylines to make it about a gay love story. It was as woke as it gets. One of the biggest shows, of all time. The Little Mermaid, honestly, The Little Mermaid isn't even really all that woke. They just changed the race. That's really it. That's as far as the wokeness ends. But according to a lot of these anti-SJW channels, the movie's woke. And has a 95% audience score. And even with it being woke, it only has a 67% critic score. So a bunch of the critics hated it. So I wonder. I'm just fascinated to see the cope that YellowFlash, like this dude, is gonna have here. I assume it's gonna be really funny. So, let's get into it. All right, hitting play. YouTuber intro.
Yesterday was Thursday previews for The Little Mermaid, and it made about 10.3 million in its previews. So, I'm not sure what it's going to pull.
All right, hold on. Let me let me turn on the volume on Minecraft. All right. Jesus. Okay, sorry. I don't know how loud that was for you, but loud for me.
The estimations are that it'll do pretty good domestically. A lot of reports were saying about 120 total. The problem there is usually...
To be clear, that's not pretty good domestically. That is very good domestically. And that's actually bigger than Aladdin, which went on to... I believe it's bigger than Aladdin. I think Aladdin made like 90-something million. And that movie went on to break the $1 billion mark. So it's really all going to be dependent on how audiences receive the movie. So if they receive the movie and they go back and watch it a bunch of times, what happened here? How did I not get as many seats back? I don't know. But yeah, I mean, it's obviously going to be dependent on how the audiences receive it and if they go back to watch it again and again. But I mean, it seems like they're liking it, so we'll see.
A total would be 200 to 300 because it would also be pulling in a lot of money internationally, and I'm not so sure if it's going to make a lot of money internationally, especially because of Fast X, which is absolutely owning the international market right now. I could be wrong, though. It could make a ton of money.
Yeah, Fast X was funny because I think it underperformed domestically, but like international audiences were like, "Oh, Vin Diesel, gotta watch him," which happens oftentimes. I remember that's happened in the past with like the Transformers movies, where like domestic audiences got sick of them, but it got made up for in the international box office, where they're like, "Oh, the robots smashing into each other." So yeah, but box office is one of those things where it's like, I kind of tend to not pay attention too much. I'm like, okay, was it like successful at the end of the day? Like, what's the final box office total? Whatever. I don't know.
It's always hard to tell with movies like this, and it is a fact that Disney live-action remakes usually make around $1 billion. But even if this film only makes $800 million, it'll still be celebrated as a win. And I think the movie's just breaking even around that number. But
What?
Still celebrated as a win. That guy
Breaking even at 8. What was the budget on this? Hold on. that sounds insane to me. Let me see. The Little Mermaid budget. 200 million. What? That's wild. Okay, yeah. I don't know that it needs $800 million to break even, but probably at least like 500, 600 million, I would say. That's an insane, but I'm not gonna lie, I watched it, I don't know where that budget went. That's actually insane.
who plays Aladdin, he was absolutely right in that tweet that he posted and then deleted and then ran off Twitter because the Little Mermaid defenders came after him. He shouldn't have done that, but he should have.
Okay, I'm not gonna lie. The Little Mermaid defenders are kind of crazy. I didn't like. I like. It is funny how like anytime you criticize the Little Mermaid on like on Twitter, you just get like a bunch of you get a bunch of accounts with like Halle Bailey profile pictures just coming after you. Like those guys are crazy.
Yeah, because he was right. Aladdin made $1 billion and it didn't get a sequel, but this one most assuredly will. So, $10.3 million on Thursday.
Okay, I don't understand why people saying that this one most assuredly will. We still haven't gotten a live action Disney remake that gets a sequel. Like, we're getting a Lion King prequel, but we haven't gotten an Aladdin sequel. We haven't gotten a Beauty and the Beast sequel. I don't know why everyone's just assuming that we're gonna get a Little Mermaid sequel. I don't know.
That is where we're at.
Oh no, we did get a Maleficent 2. That is true. But it's not even a remake.
They're expecting it to make, like I said, I think around 120 to 125 million is what they're saying, but that's going to be like the total, probably. Domestic and international. But we'll see. You know, like I said, you never know. I do know that this movie is going to have a lot of competition, though, over the next couple of weeks. So it really needs to do good this weekend, and it needs to not drop drastically next weekend, because next weekend Spider-Verse comes out. And families are going to flock to that movie. I mean, this movie and that movie are kind of going after the same audience in a way, because they're both movies that are geared towards kids. So we'll see. I know they're totally different genres. I understand that. But this movie...
I mean, I don't know. I think that, no, I mean, that it is true that, like, this movie is going to run into Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. It's going to run into Transformers Rise of the Beasts. Then it's going to run into The Flash. I don't know if Indiana Jones is coming out anywhere close after that. So, I mean, yeah, he's not wrong that it's going to face some pretty stiff competition.
And the Spider-Man movie have two things in common. It's a movie that families would go see. It's a movie that parents can take their kids to or would want, even though I wouldn't recommend you take them to either until you see them for yourself, because, well, number one, Disney is insane. Communist.
What even? I'm trying to think. Has there even been that much like crazy stuff in Disney movies? I'm trying to. What were the controversies recently? I guess like Lightyear had two ladies kiss because they were they were married or something. I don't know what's wrong with a kid saying that. People were mad at Turning Red because they alluded to a period, which, again, I think that if you don't tell your children about periods, that's like borderline child abuse. Like, that's insane to me that there are parents that just like don't tell their kids about periods, and then they just start like spewing blood randomly, and they're like, "What? They just weren't warned?" That's insane to me. So I don't have any problem with like turning red, alluding to periods. Like the girl doesn't ever even have a period. It's just the panda is an allegory for it. But I guess people were mad about that. I'm like, what else? What else has there even been? I'm trying to remember what the controversies were. Also, is he about to call Disney communists?
It's an insane communist company at this. And then that's
Communist? Disney is communist? I understand. I got that they've been calling Disney woke, but Disney, one of the biggest beneficiaries of capitalism, trying to squeeze every dollar that they possibly can out of you when you go to Disney World. They are communists? That is actually an unhinged take. What even what even are you talking about?
Spider-Verse movie has some weird things in it. I'm not so sure about. Especially I don't like the pregnant Jessica Drew, which doesn't even look like Jessica Drew.
Oh my god, bro! I remember there was a controversy. People are mad because Jessica the Spider-Woman lady is pregnant when it's like not only I find it interesting or just not even weird that people got mad at her because she's pregnant and she's like fighting and she's like involved in like fights, but nobody has brought up the fact that like Peter is also like bringing his daughter around. Like nobody's mentioned that. Nobody gets mad at just the fact that Miles Morales and even Peter Parker in the MCU movies is a teenager, and he's just like nobody cares about that. But oh my gosh, God forbid that there's like a pregnant Spider-Man when there's like Pig Spider-Man and Cat Spider-Man and Spider-Man Noir and just like a bunch of wackiness in this cartoon. Pregnant Spider-Woman, that's going way too far. I'm like, what is like, why, like, how are people getting triggered by this? I don't know. It's just weird to me.
Comics, but whatever. So this is where we're at with Mermaid. Needs to do good this weekend.
Also, notice how he said like she doesn't look like she does in the comics. It's because she's black. Cause I think the Spider-Woman character is like white in the comics. So yes, he's also just mad because she's black in the movie.
Box office drop next weekend. And then the weekend after that, and the weekend after that, and the weekend after that, because there's a big blockbuster movie coming out every single weekend for the next 4 weeks. But let's talk about something else. Let's talk about the user scores for this movie. I want you to see what it's getting over on Metacritic. Right now, the Metascore, based on 48 critical reviews, is a 59 average. And look at the user score. Based on
yeah, I'll be honest. I'm not sure like how I'm not sure how Metacritic does their thing. Oh, I guess it's because it's probably because Metacritic, I think, and I don't know this because I don't really follow Metacritic that much. But okay, so I think this is what the difference between Rotten Tomatoes and Metacritic is. Please correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. But Metacritic actually like takes the takes the review and takes like the score that they give the movie, and it actually takes the score into account when it's like calculating the average of the Metacritic score. So like if a movie gets a 6 out of 10, it's going to be weighed more negatively than if they give it a 7 out of 10. Whereas with Rotten Tomatoes, it's not, they don't take that score into account. They just take into account, did you like the movie? So like when you look at the Rotten Tomatoes score, 67% of critics liked the movie. Now, they may have like given it like a 6 out of 10 or a 10 out of 10, but those scores are going to be weighed the same in the Rotten Tomatoes score. So I think that's the main difference between Metacritic.
108 ratings, it's at 2.5. Well, that's interesting, and that's quite low. That's a very, very low audience score, wouldn't you say? So you would expect it to be around the same over on Rotten Tomatoes.
I know, very sussy.
Have similar scores.
It's going to be so suspicious.
Over on Rotten Tomatoes, when you just go to the page, you don't click anything, you see a 95% liked rating. That is quite impressive.
Wow, it's so suspicious.
67. Well, that's something, isn't it? But the truth is,
what is the truth? Tell me.
Pulling some weird shit with this one.
What's the very strange stuff that they're pulling?
This is funny. So over on the tomato meter, all critics, or no, yeah, all critics. This is all the critics. 67%. But when you just hit top critics, it's rotten.
Wow.
Isn't that interesting? But who cares about that one? I'm only going to show you this because they're doing something similar with the audience.
I like how he's like, I don't care about this thing that like, it's like, cause it's like, they have to play this very like weird game where it's like, they're just like ignoring the fact that the critic score is lower. Like they're just not even going to address that. Because again, it goes against the narrative that they push, right? The narrative that they push is that, oh, well, the critics, they only care about if something is woke and they're paid off by the studios and blah, 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 blah. So we're just going to completely ignore the fact that the critics dislike the movie, right? This is not going to, like this situation here, right? Where critics have said that this woke movie is bad. Or not, I mean, well, the majority of them liked it, but whatever. We're just going to ignore that, right? I guarantee you that in the future, like if there's ever another situation where like the critics, where it has a high critic score but a low audience score, they're just going to be like, they're just going to be like, oh, the critics were paid off, blah, blah, blah. Like they're going to go back to saying that. I guarantee you.
And scored. Watch this. Now, what you're seeing is the verified audience. That's 500 plus verified ratings. Okay.
Actually, it's been updated since then. It is, it's actually 2,500 plus verified ratings now. But, you know, what did he click on to get the, I don't even know what he clicked on to get the, all audience, like score. I don't even know what he clicked on to get that window, but whatever.
What happens when you look at all audience?
What happens? Show me.
48%.
Wow.
And that's 5,000 ratings.
Oh my gosh.
2.7 out of 5. Well, that lines up a little bit better with Metacritic's, doesn't it?
Interesting.
The critical review even winds up a little bit better with the Metacritic score as well.
Very interesting. I wonder why that could be.
Is Rotten Tomatoes protecting this movie?
Are they?
They've done it before for Disney's.
Are they? Oh, interesting. So the critics aren't the critics weren't bought off, but I guess Rotten Tomatoes was. So I assume that in the future, right, you're all going to be protecting the integrity of the critics, right? Because it's not the critics, it's just Rotten Tomatoes. Even though Rotten Tomatoes is also apparently not protecting them from the critic score, just the audience score? Okay.
Stuff. Remember that they've changed.
I guess Disney didn't pay them quite enough. You know, the bargain was just too high.
The entire way that they do shit with audience scores because of Captain Marvel. So they've done it before, but I've got to say, that's very strange. So they're going with the verified audience. And, you know, if it was closer...
Wait, do they not always go with the verified audience? Hold on, let me just pick a random one. You hurt my feelings. Whatever this movie is, I don't even know what this is. Verified audience. The Machine. Verified audience. The Wrath of Becky. Verified audience. The Hole in the Fence. Okay, this one I guess doesn't have the verified audience score. Okay, I guess that's... Okay, I will say that is weird. Oh, okay, well, there were no verified audience reviews for... Okay, so... It seems like they usually just go with the verified audience score. It doesn't seem like there's any shenanigans going on here. Try one more. Mother's Day. Fewer than 50 ratings. But there are no verified audience reviews. So by the way, just to be clear, when it comes to the verified audience ratings, what that means is that to be like a verified audience member, you have to actually like show proof that you watched the movie. So yeah, I assume you have to like send like a you have to like show some kind of like receipt or something, or like connect your account with like AMC movie theaters or whatever. Listen, I've never bothered leaving a Rotten Tomatoes review, but apparently that's how it works, is that you have to like show proof that you actually purchased a ticket to go watch the movie, which is a good thing, right? If I want to, because here's my general thing with like audience scores. Generally speaking, if it's just like left to people's own devices and they don't have to show proof for anything, if there's ever a controversial movie, I pretty much just ignore the audience rating, because it's like obviously there are going to be a bunch of people brigading the audience score, and they don't really just to like vote on it whichever way to fit their own agenda, right? Like people are just going to go in saying they like it. There are going to be people saying that they dislike it. By having a verified audience score, you are at least only getting ratings by people that actually went to go see the movie, right? So to be clear, am I saying that everybody that isn't a verified audience member didn't go see the movie? No, because it's possible that those guys did go see the movie, but they just don't want to bother like showing their ticket. But so I'm not saying that not everybody that didn't that isn't a verified audience. I'm not saying that that none of them watched it, but it is the case that the verified members did go see the movie. Right? All of those guys did go see the movie. So I would rather have a sample size of people that for sure watched the movie than a nebulous sample size of like who even knows. You know what I'm saying? So there's that.
I would say, well, whatever. But this is a drastic difference. That is a drastic difference.
Yeah, interesting. I wonder why that. I wonder why the difference is so drastic. That's so weird. So that's fascinating. Why would the difference be that drastic? I'm truly racking my brain trying to come up with a reason as to why that might be. Could there be some kind of reason that in one of the groups of people where you had the option of not having to show proof that you watched the movie, that the score is different and lower? That's so weird. Why could that be? Honestly, I'm perplexed.
Which makes me think there's something goofy going on here. Some of the reviews too for the verified ones are kind of funny. One said it was a Fantana movie, or a Fanana movie. They forgot to finish fantastic by a lot.
Is he just like angrily gonna start reading reviews now? It's like, Like, oh, you can't enjoy this movie. People can't genuinely just enjoy the movie. That's not possible.
So, I don't know. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. What are your thoughts on this? How do you feel about this? Do you think that they are pulling some shenanigans? Let me know. Also, if you would, please like, subscribe, share the video. Make sure you're still subscribed. Hit that notification bell. Check out my Romo locals, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace. Make sure to check.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't think that there's anything weird going on here. I just think that it just simply makes sense that whenever there are people, or I should say, yeah, whenever there is a controversial thing, right? I genuinely just disregard like audience ratings because I know that people are just going to go in and just fight for whatever their side is. But I like that a lot of these sites have now been introducing like verified audience ratings because that's been the thing with CinemaScore. I think like what CinemaScore is that they actually like interview people walking out of movie theaters to get their data. And yeah, I appreciate that Rotten Tomatoes is now going like, hey, to be a verified audience, to be a part of the verified audience rating, you have to show proof that you bought the movie ticket. And I just think that's a really good way of like weeding out trolls. So yeah, I don't think that there's anything weird going on here. I think it's hilarious that now all of these guys are gonna start like coping. Right. Because again, if it had been the opposite, right? If the verified audience score was in the negative, and the critic rating was in the was really high, nobody would be bringing up any disparity, right, between the verified audience rating and like Metacritic or the verified audience rating and the all audiences. Nobody would have cared about any of that. Nobody would have bothered to look into it, and like nobody would have cared. But because it goes against their narrative, because it goes against their agenda, they have to try to poke something at it. Oh, something weird has to be going on here. So I don't know. I just wanted to show off how just obviously disingenuous a lot of these people are, and if you really start paying attention, it's really obvious that as much as they say that Hollywood has an agenda, that everything is woke and blah 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 blah, they also have an agenda. They have a very clear agenda. They have an anti-woke agenda. So, anyways, let me know what you think about it in the comments down below. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you hate me personally? That's fair if you do. I don't blame you. Anyways, bye.